Yo, what's going down, everybody? It's your boy Big Drewski, and welcome to another episode of Space Bucket Growing with Drewski. All right, Jesus. So what's going down, everybody? As you can see by today's episode, once again we're running into some problems, and I'd like to diagnose what's going on. So, going with the theme of today's episode, it might not be the nutrient problem that you're thinking of. Right now, if you're following us on Instagram at whatarewedoing_podcast, you'll see that the purple grenade is in flower. It's looking really, really nice. We're having a couple of questions about defoliation and when should we do it again, knowing that this is the end of week 5 into the beginning of week 6. I've been told that a lot of people do defoliate around this time. When we were in the veg stage of things and we were trying to create bud sites, it was about removing fan leaves that would block potential bud sites from forming. Now that we have bud sites formed and they're stacking, the question is, with the nutrients that are getting sucked out of these fan leaves and put into the buds, should we go ahead and cut that middleman process out and defoliate all of these fan leaves, leaving your stems or your colas a little thin? There's just going to be bud sites pretty much growing on them, but it's something that I did have a question about. So that's one of those things that I'm looking at. If you are following on Instagram, that's what are we doing _podcast, you will see some of the latest posts that we have up there of the purple grenade. It's actually about 3 posts back. We're also doing a nice little study about education on marijuana as well. Right now, I've enrolled myself in 2 courses, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these courses stoned and sober. So there's going to be portions of the time where I really am sober and I'll post the results, and there's going to be times when I'm stoned out of my brain and I'm going to follow this class load and I'm going to post the results for you. So that's just something that we're doing. But if you go back to the other post and you're looking at the purple grenade, you're going to see that the bud starts are forming. It's starting to get taller inside, like the nodes. I guess that's what the stack is called. The bud is actually starting to form and grow and create nugs and things of that nature. Now around that are fan leaves that are pretty much dying off. You can't see them too well in the picture. I didn't take off the spacers on the space bucket. There was no reason to check up on the plant. Well, there was a reason to. I could defoliate, but I'm kind of confused on where to cut. Looking at how the buds are growing and how everything's forming in that, I know like those little small sugar leaves and things of that nature don't cut. There's leaves that are growing and it seems to be out of the same bud site, so that's what I call it the stack, because it looks like before it was like a bud and then it was growing like there was a leaf growing and you didn't see another bud side. Now it looks like it's forming up and around these leaves, making bud sites a little bit more prominent and fatter. So it's something that I do have a question about on that end. I've never seen it. It started on the CFL build grow, and unfortunately we did have to sacrifice that to get the most that we could out of the purple grenade. And speaking of that, we do have trichome development happening. It is very subtle, but I have a lot of things going on that end. You know, plants looking decent. My only thing about it is that I am noticing that there are nutrient looking problems, and these nutrient looking problems could be a pH problem from what I've researched. And so what I wanted to do was get a little bit further into that and actually diagnose the plant. So I went to my favorite website that has all these diagnoses and these problems and these tips and tricks. That's groweateasy.com. And upon going to groweateasy.com, it looks like I'm having a pH problem. And look, it's gonna happen. Now, I know I'm gonna have a pH problem. My water sucks, so we've got to go through a few processes to actually make everything correct, such as neutralizing the water. So I've got a couple of gallons of water. I'm popping it outside in the sunlight, and I usually set them out there the night before, and I just let them cook all day. I can do that tomorrow because I will be at Stax's house. We will be recording an episode of What Are We Doing? It is going to be Fight Night edition. The Mayweather McGregor fight is tomorrow, and it looks like it's going to be an exciting fight. Funny thing about that is there's a lot of fighters right now, especially in the MMA community, who are coming out and protesting their love for cannabis and how cannabis helps them in their healing process, in their training process, things of that nature. Now, we know there are rules when it comes to MMA fighters and smoking cannabis before fights, but it's not like that in the boxing league. So hopefully Conor McGregor doesn't smoke weed right before the fight. If he does smoke weed, we don't want him getting kicked out. The fight's tomorrow. It's today. It's literally today. It's 1:46 a.m. in Las Vegas, and the fight's, it's a different kind of fight. So we're looking forward to that. You know what I'm saying? We will be recording an episode of Space Bucket Growing with Stax, because he does have to update you on his CFL build Tangy-matic grow. Now, we do know that the Tangy came from Fast Buds, and we got them from the rep Fast Buds Vegas on Instagram. You can go to their website, check out their catalog, toofastforbuds.com, and really check out like these seeds. These are actually pretty dope seeds. These nutrailize strains are off the chain. They've got every flavor that you can think of, and you got 60-day harvest, man. From what it looks like, we're on day early 20s on Stax Grow. We'll get that update from you, and we'll you guys will see what's going on with that. That thing is major. It popped all of a sudden, and it looks like it's going to be a nice bountiful grow. So we're going to see his CFL build, because that's the experiment that we're having anyways, with CFL versus LED and the amount of cannabis we can grow with each kind of lighting system. That being said, we're going to get that update tomorrow, and then we're going to have Fight Night edition of What Are We Doing? Hopefully we don't get caught by these guys doing our thing tomorrow. You know how it goes. They want to be all up in our business. We do not need these guys messing up anything for us tomorrow. So we're going to be the safest of people. And we will be consuming our cannabis in a safe and friendly environment while watching this lovely, lovely fight. I can't wait. Man, but we're gonna switch gears here for a hot second. I wanted to get into something with y'all too when it comes to growing, cannabis with additional lighting. So give us a hot, So you guys, as you guys know, we're growing with LED lights. We have the Apollo Horticulture. It's a 180 watt LED that we're using to power the Purple Grenade grow. And one of the things that we also did was from the Rain Man Space Bucket Micro Grow kit, we got a LED spacer sent to us, courtesy of our sponsor, and we've been using that during the grow. One thing I noticed was that I feel, just me personally, I feel that the lights turned up at max, they do more, I would say, more harm than good, because I find myself clipping a lot of leaves, and then in clipping a lot of leaves, now I've got bud sites sitting on LED lights, and it's just not all good. I had to, get some of that larvae pop off of there. It does help with growth, and that's why this is another one about defoliation and nutrient problems, because keeping potential bud sites takes away from the nutrients that your buds are getting on the top, and the ones that are going to become healthy and nice fat nugs. So there was a whole lot of things that I just had to get rid of because of re-vegging growth. Growth just not happening on these lower ends, even with the LED light. But I felt like it was because these branches were sitting on the LED lights. Could have been my fault. I could have scrogged it a little better, trained it a little better, maybe got some yo-yos, and manipulated the branches so that way they were away from the LED lights, not sitting directly on it, and doing that. So that is something that I noticed about the grow myself. If you're not scrogging, or if you didn't scrog in LST train early, that LED spacer can burn leaves that you do have on your plant, causing for you to do some changes up to your grow, and clip leaves here and there, make sure you got things going the right way. And it's something that you can fix relatively easily, I say. But it's one of those things I did learn by having additional lighting. You did get more growth, but I did also end up doing harm to my plant. And it wasn't an intentional harm. Like I said, I did it to increase yield, and that's exactly what it's doing. It's adding more light to the space that it's in. And it's a cool white light on the sides, and on the top we've got the red, blue, infrared spectrum white light LED UFO from Apollo Horticulture, running at 180 watts. And that UFO is a beast. Another thing I noticed with that is you really do have to catch your spacing in a timely fashion. I say that because I noticed on the CFL build, when I switched it over to LED and it did its swell, it's that the LED lights will burn your plant. It'll cook your plant. And especially like me, I run my lights at night, so my lights pop on at 10 o'clock. I'm in bed by midnight, maybe 1. Tonight's a little special one. I did celebrate earlier today. Your boy got placed somewhere, so that's why the time schedule is going to change. What are we doing? It's probably going to be moving to Sundays. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. But I did want to stick to a schedule. I knew I threw one up there on Instagram for you guys to let you guys know when we will be recording, where we're going to be dropping. But since my schedule will probably no longer prohibit the Saturday night sessions, we'll just do Sundays. And then it'll be back to normal. What are we doing? Or Space Bucket Growing with Drewski will continue on as random as possible. You know how I do it. I said I was going to do once a week. I find myself posting twice because now that we're further on into the later stages of flowering growth, I do have more questions to ask. I do like to inquire with you guys and be a little bit transparent about that. And I also want you guys to know what I'm going through, because some of us that you're new in the game, you can shoot advice, and then there are some of us that are just learning and getting into growing our own meds, and then gaining education, even to get into a field maybe later on in life, depending on the state that you're in, rec and medical. Having a little bit of knowledge, and not scaring people off would be nice. So I'd like to, that's why I got into growing, because I actually wanted to know about what was going on when you grow cannabis. Like, what is this plant that I'm smoking, dabbing, eating, all of that, and how does it grow? How can I make it grow? And to see what it takes to get things right. So this is definitely not my last grow. I am going to be starting Tangimatic, and we're going to do the Tangimatic CFL versus LED grow document series here. It's going to be still part of the Space Bucket Growing with Drewski, but it's going to be the next phase. As we've had the CFL bag seed grow, we've transitioned to the Purple Grenade, aka P47, and now that next project, because we did want to get into growing auto seeds to see what kind of growth we can get, how fast that growth is with the 60-day turnaround, and the yields we'll get off of that with a 60-day turnaround. So it's going to be a nice little interesting time. We've got 4 or 5 more weeks until harvest, so there's a long way to go. Me, personally, I think there's a long way to go, but we'll see, folks. We will see. Thanks for listening in. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at Rainman Space Bucket Micro Grows. You can find them on Instagram at mostlysafe8. You're going to click on the link in their bio and hit their Etsy store. We have the Beast, which is one of the Rainman models of the Space Bucket, with the additional LED spacer and the high-powered 180 watt LED light. You can get a variation of things from your Scrog, that's your screen of green spacer, and it's not even really a spacer, it's a 2-gallon cut, small addition that fits inside your pot, and it helps you with your screen of green and your low stress training. Y'all can tell I'm medicated. I'm about to keep medicating. Actually, shout out to our people over at the offices of Smoke. That's Smoke a Pipe, SMOAK. We have the OG and the Chub. They are wooden chillums or wooden cigars. They really do look like a cigar when you do hold them in the hand. The bowl size on these things is incredible. They pack a lot more than what you would think they do. The smoke on these is incredible. If you're into aged wood and flavor and getting a nice big cloud unexpectedly, you got to be able to handle it. So, what I'm saying, take your time the first time that you smoke out of one of these once you get yours. Also, get the patent. Get the leather case that comes with it too, you guys. Get that leather case. Don't just go get yourself a smoker pipe and don't get the leather case, because the leather case is smell proof, so you can load and go. It's real leather, so it'll age with you just like the wood does. And we're gonna medicate right now, actually. course, lighter want to act a fool on camera or on microphone. Damn. That was right to the back of the throat. Make sure you don't grind the weed up too fine either. Woo! Medication. Mary Jane, that's my thing. But shout out to Smoke, man. The whole crew's been inducted into the Smoke family. Me, L Boogie, and Stacks. So the homie Fast Buds, I think he got his. He's been inducted to the Smoke family. So check out the new hashtag on Instagram at Smoke Family Vegas. You know, we just doing things how we should, man. Thanks for listening, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any tips or tricks, hit me up on Instagram. That's at whatarewedoing_podcast. If you're listening on here and you're clicking the email links and everything like that, go ahead, send me an email on what you think's going down, what I should do with the defoliation process, what I should do with the possible newt problems that I'm having, and you know, spit some game, man. I'm always receptive. I appreciate everybody who loves spitting some game in my ear when it comes to cannabis growing, and because it makes me a better grower at the end of the day. It makes my cannabis better at the end of the day. That means my meds at the end of the day are going to be top shelf meds. I did start with top shelf genetics, so it'd be only right that I grow it the top shelf way. Thanks for listening in, y'all. This your boy Big Drewski. Make sure you're also going to the Elevated Lifestyle LV merchandise page on Instagram as well. And please, I'm begging you guys, please buy a t-shirt. It's only $23.49. There are other t-shirts on the site as well, but every time that you get a t-shirt, you support the channel. And those were created by myself, branded by myself, you know what I'm saying? I did all the artwork and everything like that. So holla at your boy. $23.49 for a t-shirt. Let's get it, y'all. Holla at your boy one time.